In this follow-up video, I'm going to show the exact luminosity values. That way the hard numbers relevant to this topic are there for your perusal. Now, before I get into the main part of this video, very briefly I want to talk about why I'm not going to use the grayscale images in this video. It's because, as someone pointed out in the comments section on the first video, the luminosity values are very difficult to get exactly converted when you convert them to grayscale. And I compared the standard color versions of the images that I had and compared them to the grayscale images I had converted from I think it was pinetools.com or whichever website I used. It didn't actually carry over the luminosity values. It's, the grayscale images are still useful for comparison purposes. They're not really useful for an exact, they're not very useful for a scientific video in which I'm going to show the exact luminosity values and get the exact contrast values. And to prove that the luminosity values were not retained, I'm going to show you right now, comparing this color version of an image from the Mortal Kombat Conquest mode, Mortal Kombat Deception Conquest mode, and compare it with the grayscale conversion I have. So we've got a value of 152. And then we've got a value of 192. 152. 188. Here we've got a value of 49 on the grayscale. Got a value of 50 in the color version. 56. Got a value of 106. And then we've got a value of 86. Color version, we've got a value of 59. Grayscale, we've got a value of 61, so that was retained, more or less. Grayscale got a value of 69. Color, we've got a value of 69. Got a value of 227 right here. Then we've got a value of 235. So it retained some values, but when I looked around a bit off camera, outside of the recording, I found some values that were not retained. Let's try to find some of those. So far, most of the values I've shown have been retained. Grayscale got color, we've got a value of 162. Color, we've got a value. Grayscale, we've got a value of 83. So as you can see, the values are not, perfectly maintained. They're not perfectly converted. So these grayscale images are of value for showing the contrast, but they're not exact enough to be useful for giving a hard number. See, grayscale, we've got a luminosity. Value of 30. Value of 29. Color, we've got a value of 1. Grayscale, value of 2. So yeah, as you can see, the conversions are not perfect. They're not good enough for a video in which I'm trying to show the exact values. The video in which I'm trying to show the hard numbers. The grayscale conversion method I was using just won't suffice for this video. So hopefully that addresses the methodological concerns. I'm not going to be using any of the grayscale images to extract the exact luminosity values, and thus the contrast values. I'm going to be using the color images, all of which are either from my own gameplay footage or they're from Steam. So first we're going to try to find the highest luminosity value contained within each image, and then we're going to try to find the lowest luminosity value within each image. And then we're going to just compare the luminosity values between various different things, like this shoe in the ground, for instance, or between these different color tones of lava, between the various different shades of gray and black on the ground and on these rock spikes, just to get some of the contrast values that can be found throughout the image. Got a high value of 219. .232. The maximum luminosity value is 240, so 232 is probably as high as it gets in this image. I'm not going to look any further. Got a value of 15 for the low. Got a value of 12. Got a value of 27. Yeah, 12, probably somewhere around 10. There might be an 8 somewhere. Somewhere around 10 is the lowest luminosity value we could find. Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be 10. Anyway, let's compare the luminosity values on his outfit. Got a value of 71. Got a value of 57. Got a value of 55. Got a value of 74. In the upper part of his outfit, we've got a value of 59. Value of 67. Value of 52. Value of 40. Value of 42. Upon his legs, we've got a value of 14. Value of 30. Value of 41. Value of 37. On your shoes, we've got a value of 52. 34. 21. On the ground, we've got a 33 contrasted against 27 and 22. In this lava flow, we've got a value of 110 against a value of 129 against a value of 150. On this UI element, we've got a value of 130, contrasting a value of 38. It's also got a value of 93 against a value of 72. On this rock, we've got a value of 40 against a value of 74. Over on this bank, we've got a value of 69 against a value of 25. This image is also Mortal Kombat Deception Conquest mode. Upon the ground, we've got a value of 86. Contrasted against a value of 53. Got a value of 32 against a value of 43. Got a value of 51. We've got a value of 51 over here as well against a value of 30. In the water, we've got a value of 59. Yeah, it seems like all the luminosity values in the water are in the 50s. We've got a 62 all the way over there on the left side. Yeah, so the values in the water are in the range of 50 to 60 something. On this bridge, we've got a low of 37 on that shadow, contrast it against a value of 152. Got a value of 65 on that shadow, contrasting against a value of 101. Over here we've got a value of 68 against 140. In the background upon this hut we've got a value of 96 against 78. These plants next to the river or stream have a value of 37. And they've also got a value of 38. And that's contrasting with the mud along the embankment, value 43. The grass has a value of 55. And of course the water has a value of somewhere around 50. It's got a value of 52 exactly. Some of the lighter part of this treetop has a value of 54. And there's a value of 36 in that treetop as well, where there's a bit of shade, a bit of shadow. Value 57 against value 46 on this tree, where part of the tree is a bit more shaded. The roof of this hut has a value of 101. Another part of it has a value of 93. There's a value of 64 contrasting against a value of 103. And then all the way over here on the left there's a value of 115 against a value of 58. This is Mortal Kombat 1. Let's try to find the highest luminosity value. 233. Obviously with a max of 240, that's about as high as it can possibly get. Let's try to find the lowest. 1. Okay. So there might be a 0 on here, but that's 1 is almost as low as it can possibly be. So there you go. Let's compare the stars to the night sky. So this star has a value of 86. The sky in the background has a value of 7. Got a value of 121 against a value of 7. Over here we've got a value of 143 against a value of 8. Let's compare this lantern. Got a value of 160 against a value of 70. Let's take a look at this lantern. Got a value of 121 next to 177. On this lantern we've got a value of 64 against a value of 168. got a value of 43 against a value of 192. On this cliff face, we've got a value of 4 against a value of 29. We've also got a value of 28. Got a value of 6. Luminosity value of 0 in this shaded area under these trees. On Reptile, we've got a value of 61 against a value of 18. That's on his tongue. On one scale, we've got a value of 82. On another, we've got a 74. On another, we've got 46, 44. On his gums, we've got a value of 65. On his tooth, we've got a value of 55. On another tooth, we've got a value of 39. On this lantern over here, we've got a value of 238 against a value of 76 against a value of 118. On this shield, we've got a value of 53 against 101. On the inner part of the shield, we've got a value of 107 against a value of 23. Upon the ornamentation, we've got a value of 123 against a value of 110. On the lower part of the ornamentation, we've got a value of 40 against a value of 50. On this fabric wrapped around this wooden pillar, we've got a value of 17, where there's a bit of shadow, against a value of 49. On the ground, we've got a value of 107 against a value of 51. On this vase or pot or whatever it is, we've got a value of 50 against a value of 7. On this lantern, we've got a value of 120 against a value of 37. On the flame around this character, we've got a value of 127 against a value of 230. Against a value of 164. $143. $202. $110. 112 on the lower part of his outfit. Against 94. On the knee pad we've got a value of 78. Against a value of 103. Also got a value of 228 where there's an amber. In the background we've got a value of 44. Against a value of 59. On these plants we've got a value of 14. Against a value of 86. Against a value of 36. Got a value of 104 over there as well. On Reptile's tail spike we've got a value of 78 compared to 40 on his scale. The tip of the tail spike we've got a value of 145 compared to the base of the tail spike, 71. Got a value of 19, contrasting a value of 7. Got a value of 13 over there as well. 48. 13. On the reptile's eye, we've got a value of 45, contrasting a value of 14. Alright, let's find the highest luminosity value here. Got a value of 239 on that ceiling lamp, that ceiling light. So that's as high as it can get, really. On this tree trunk we've got a value of 154. Against a value of 112. Against a value of 7. Oh, I almost forgot we need to find the lowest luminosity value. That 7 is probably going to be the lowest. And we got a 5. So the lowest is very close to 0, if not 0. And the highest is 239, if not 240. But anyway, let's see. At the tip of this sword we've got a value of 64 against a value of 141. We've also got a value of 228 where there's a bit of sheen. Got 240. 239. Background, skyline, we've got a value of 86 against 187. Got a value of 112 against a value of 92. In this building way in the background, we've got a value of 82 against a value of 58. On this carpet, we've got a value of 64 against 24 against 6 against 54. On this couch, we've got a value of 53 against 78. On the shaded part of this couch, we've got a value of 42. Upon this pillow, we've got a value of 110, 19, 57, and on this other pillow, we've got a value of 43, contrasting 83. On the ground immediately in the foreground, we've got a value of 168, 144, 168 again, 91, 39, 109, 165, on Kenshi's shoe, we've got a value of 55 against 48. We've got a value of 110 for that blade. On his, not sure what he would call this. It's not really a robe. It doesn't have sleeves, but however you want to refer to this. We've got a value of 115 against a value of 47. We've also got 64 against 41. We've got 43 against 48 against 77. We've got 163 against 74. We've got 52 contrasted against 58. We've also got 52 contrasted against 72. We've got a value of 217 against 189. Got a value of 74 against 117. 48 against 58. 137 against 113. On this character we've got 101. Contrasted against 180. We've got 96 against 84. In the water we've got a value of 214 against 97. Got a value of 37 against 164 on whatever that is in the pool. On Katana's face mask we've got a value of 63 against a value of 39. On this piece of metal upon her leg we've got a value of 160, contrasting a value of 22. Her foot has a value of 129. This piece of fabric around her foot has a value of 67. This paint or piece of fabric, whatever this is, on her face has a value of 56. Her facial skin has a value of 79. This blood has a value of 116. This bit of darker blood has a value of 45. It's contrasting against the light, value of 232. This outline on this tree has a value of 34 against a value of 163. There's also a value of 34 on the tree itself. Lowest value on the tree appears to be 8 or somewhere thereabouts. There's water in the background. There's a value of 145 against a value of 79. This wall over here, there's a value of 193 against a value of 25. On these circles on the ceiling, not sure what these are exactly, there's a value of 67 against a value of 35. On the other one there's a value of 49, contrasting a value of 32.